Hi everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and well, here we are. If you're yeah, if you're still feeling like I am post-election, then you're probably feeling disappointed and upset, probably scared, still frustrated. But I think right now, uh, best thing to do is be prepared to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, build community. And if you are still feeling this way, I have a movie that you can really watch. This movie. This is my latest entry in the my Letterboxd Criterion Challenge for 2024, and today's prompt is number 42, which is to watch a movie from the 1930s. And I picked a movie that honestly I didn't know I needed right now, but uh, I wasn't expecting it. I'm glad it was. This is a movie from 1939 called Only Angels Have Wings. This comes to us from one of the golden age Hollywood directors. There's one of the marvelous men of those eras, Howard Hawks, truly a hit maker, a splat, a guy who makes who really knows, really has a gift for for both the gift of gab and knows how to make people talking visually interesting. Has such a long, proud history of amazing, from action, crime movies with the original Scarface to his madcap comedies like Bringing Up Baby and His Girl Friday, and even even more musical movies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and even westerns like Rio Bravo. But you also have movies like this. These are more this is kind of an amalgamation of a lot of what Hawks does, and it's just kind of really blending together, and a lot of his sentiment, a lot of what you get out of each and every type of one of those Howard Hawks movies. And I'm gonna be frank with you. This is a new favorite. This is one of my favorite movies that I have seen, either through this challenge really one of the movies that I discovered this year. Here. And also marvelous Criterion capture too. Not only is the transfer great, I also recommend it because this essay that comes with it, as a lot of Criterions do, is marvelous. And so the artwork on this character postcard is marvelous, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna love each and every one of these characters. So what it's about, it's set in Barranca, which is kind of this port town in South America, where we're first introduced to two pilots. They're Les and Joe, and they're sort of like following them in their lived in these sort of lived in routines. And they're just kind of reacquainting themselves with the local scene, and then they get introduced to the main lead. And it's real fun way that she's introduced is because they first talk to the boat foreman. And he has a fresh shiner, and he's like, oh, I fell and slipped into a doorknob, and then down comes Jean Arthur as Bonnie, and as Bonnie Lee, and the second the boatman turns around, he just jumps in shock, and then Joe's like, well, there's the doorknob. and so the two pilots, they kind of try to put the moves on Bonnie. They move into a fun quaint building that's kind of a bar, kind of a port of what to call it, kind of everything. It's kind of like the place to be, and it's being made by kind of an older gentleman named Dutchy. And again, and Joe and Les, they're having great back and forth with each other and with Bonnie, and then she's like, oh, she's kind of playing them along because we know for a fact that she's a bit of a firecracker, what with the shiner and all. But we also in the way, and there's also already a great camaraderie between the two of them. between Joe and Les, and they have a great game of like calling odds and evens on a fistful of matchsticks, to see which one of them will be inviting Bonnie out to a steak dinner. But then in saunters Jeff Carter, who was played by our lead, the one and only Cary Grant. That's him. Again, marvelous art in this. And my God, he is fantastic in this. I would not be surprised at all if this character and this performance was a great inspiration for both Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Probably a lot of Harrison Ford's career, and especially Indiana Jones, like the way, just visually speaking, with his bomber jacket, his pistol at his side, his wide-rimmed hat. That only main difference between would be like Cary Grant's high-waisted gacho pants, which by the way, he looks fly as hell all the time. And Jeff, he like just saunters in and he lays down the law. All my pilot, like the mail glove is on time, all my pilots do too. And because Jeff runs the mail flyers, they fly out in planes through these very treacherous mountains, just to do the job. And it's a dangerous job, and there's risk of death, and at every turn. But it's a job that needs to be done, and there's heroism in it, and there's camaraderie between Jeff with Joe and Jeff's best friend Kid, who's kind of a middle-aged, little more weathered man. He's been around. He's been flying for like 20 years, but he knows Jeff a lot. He knows all the guys. And Jeff, he kind of gives off this like tough exterior, but of like a tough pragmatist. But he does care. There is a emotional core to it. But then, Joe's he's gotta go off, do his job, and impress Bonnie, and he wants to come back soon. But the danger with that is that he's like setting out and coming back in a thick. He's like setting out and coming back in a thick layer of fog, and it has this fantastic sequence, probably one of the most famous ones, where Joe is trying to land in the fog, and he wants to land quick because he wants to get that dinner with Bonnie, and Jeff is standing at the call box, giving him instructions. You got texts in the lookout box, so that's on the radio too. And when Joe's flying around, everybody's standing by, and they're waiting and they're listening out for the hum and the buzz of his airplane. And Mike, man, this is and it's tense, the way that like Cary Grant like picks up like Joe, pull up. Like when you just hear the roar, just like way too close. But he tries, he misses, he tries again, clips the wing, and he goes in and completely eats it. And like Joe, and like a lady Joe knew was like screaming and crying. Everyone's in shock. Jeff, he just kind of resolutely, yeah, that's it. Go get the mail. Let's see what we can salvage. There'll be another man. There'll be another flyer on the boat to replace him. And like that again, it seems cold, and it seems cold to Bonnie too, as our audience surrogate. And she sits down and is still kind of shaken, but then brought out the steak dinner, and Jeff takes the empty one. Jeff takes the other that was reserved for Joe, because and Jeff and all the other pilots, everybody else is just kind of carrying on really easy, and she's kind of insulted by this. Like, you have these like pack of daredevils that are just like carrying on, almost refusing to acknowledge that a man just died, and they kind of and Jeff kind of reads it. Reads into it like he's been like this great line. He's been dead 20 minutes. He's been dead 20 minutes, and all the weeping and wailing of the world won't make him any deader 20 years from now. And Bonnie's insulted by it, but then she gets some advice from Kid, and then she walks back inside where Jeff is at the piano, and she sits down next to him, and she gets the piano going, playing a song, and song just kind of joining in and amplifying the revelry and the joy that everyone is like playing through and playing up. When Jeff asks her, so who's Joe? She's like, never heard of him. And that moment kind of was a moment of self-care. It's a moment that I was like, wow, that surprisingly hit me hard. But the best part, everything I just told you is in the first 30 minutes. And this movie has another hour and a half more juice, more gas in its tank. And man, it's marvelous, because I think this is some of Hawks' best staging in terms of like blocking his actors and like the way he moves the camera, and all the performances are wonderful. Like, of course, Cary Grant, I think this was like the first time he was able to like really be like a romantic lead. This very like this like Hawksian masculine lead, and romantic lead too. Like, you know, other time he was like much more like in comedy stuff, like even with Bringing Up Baby, where he's like just a complete dork. But Jean Arthur, who's plays Bonnie, she's marvelous too, and there's great moments where they really let her play up some of her comedy and comedic timing. There's just even little moments where like Grant opens the door and Arthur just kind of stumbles because she was like listening in to his conversation. But also, I gotta say, another underrated, one of the more maybe not as, obviously you have your two leads, but you also have Rita Hayworth, as in the Rita Hayworth, Gilda, flipping the hair, me, Gilda, ask her grandparents, and it's crazy to think that she's like fourth build, but yeah, this was kind of one of her breakout roles, I think. Well, this is the movie that got her notice, and then Gilda was like really made her like this, like an icon, and she's marvelous as well, and has a real sensitivity as kind of Cary Grant's ex, and oh man, and yeah, and again she's got a face and a voice that you easily see, yeah, obviously, and wonderful. But honestly, I think one of the real hearts of the movie is Thomas Mitchell as Kid. He's very weathered. He's been around the way. He knows Jeff inside and out. But he also has damage. He meets there's a moment later where he meets up with a pilot that jumped ship and abandoned him. So he's face to face with this coward that kind of stuck him in the back, and he wants to chew him out, but he just kind of like swallows that, and because they both know like what that man did. But he also has like obviously shown sensitivity with Jeff. There's a real kind of a dude's rock style friendship between Kid and Jeff, because when Jeff sort of grills him on sets him up with an eye test, like several eye tests, because he knows that Kid's eyesight is failing, and both of them don't want to admit it, but Jeff has to do what's necessary, and he grounds him, and that eats at him. Flying 22 years, they've been friends about as long as they've known each other, and it hurts, but they both kind of know that's what needs doing. And that heart really stuck with me, and again, like, I get kind of maybe not sentimental, because Hawks wasn't really a sentimental guy, but I do feel a sense of community just even looking at this postcard of characters, because I do care for everyone. I care about Dutchy, who I just want to like make his bar. I care about Jeff. I care about Kid, and I even care about the coward, because he really tries his best to prove himself to everybody, and like just sort of doing this, like, yes, he failed, yes he did wrong, but he wants to try again. And I think that was sort of a spirit and a real heart that I really needed then when I watched this, and I've watched this twice already. It's marvelous, and there's hardly a moment in this movie that I won't say is glorious. Like, and even the flight sequences, because there's a real joy of aviation in this. This, like, especially like around the time of the 30s when buzz boys and aerial planes were really like the hot ticket on the town. There's so much joy to like the beauty and freedom. Like there's a as evident in this exchange between Bonnie and Jeff. She's she watches Joe take off in his plane. She's like, that's the most wonderful thing I ever saw. Like, no, it better remind you of a great big beautiful bird, didn't it? No, it didn't at all. That's what's so wonderful. It really is a flying human being. And it's like, yeah, it is kind of a miracle. It's a miracle we take for granted. That's kind of that for not being a sentimentalist. I think that is kind of a beautiful thing. Makes me want to watch a Miyazaki movie, just like experience the joy of flying. But like, there's so much thrills here too. These sequences, and sure, there's work's done with like the models, and yeah, you can see the strains, but like it doesn't matter. Like these sequences, they're so well staged, so well put together, so thrilling, and it's even cut in with like actual flight footage, and it's marvelous. It's so good. It's a movie that you really just kind of need to see, really need to feel, and man, I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. I love this movie. I think you'll love it too. I have nothing but praise. This was a good movie. This was a better than good movie. This was one of Howard Hawks' best. Definitely one of the greatest movies of the golden age of Hollywood era. Marvelous picture. And man, yeah, I feel better. I feel better having watched a movie like this, and I feel more prepared now. That emotionally prepared, at least. I can really face the coming days that we've on. But the movies make it better. The movies make life better, and I think that's all I have to say right now. Yeah, this was great. Looking forward to Red River. That's another Howard Hawks movie I have a little later on in my collection, in my challenge, and yeah, wonderful. Can't recommend it enough. And so, with that, comment, like, subscribe. I hope you've seen this. Check it out. Check out other Howard Hawks movies. They're great. I'm not a fan of Bringing Up Baby, but the rest of his stuff is pretty great. And for now, I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch, and I hope you watch movies because movies give life. And I will see you all later. Take care of yourselves.